Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. I hope you've all had a wonderful start to your weekends. Today we're going to be delivering our daily cryptocurrency market update, and there is so much happening within the crypto space right now. A potential state in America talking about legalizing Bitcoin as legal tender, or certainly there's been a bill to instate Bitcoin as a potential legal tender. We have got a lot to cover from Russia, from Biden, from the SEC, and so on and so forth. Also, we're going to be taking a little look at how we left off on Friday. We know traditional financial markets don't trade over the weekend. How we left that space. We did see a little bit of an uptick, but the traditional markets, certainly the risk-on markets, such as your tech stocks, the NASDAQ is a big one. Not necessarily for risk off, but that involves a lot of tech. You know, they saw a bit of an uptick, but they've significantly sold off. And crypto has actually mitigated this quite well, in my opinion. Certainly given the fact that it was already selling off when the traditional world kind of reacted to the Federal Reserve interest rate hikes and so on and so forth. So we've got a lot to get through, guys. Let's look at Bitcoin. Let's look at the dollar. Let's look at Ethereum. Let's look at Cardano. And of course, we'll be taking a look at the NASDAQ, which has seen a pretty significant sell-off, of course, given the Federal Reserve's headwinds. We also have breaking: Google Cloud could soon accept Bitcoin and crypto after launching its blockchain unit. How can you be bearish on the crypto space, ladies and gentlemen? Given the journey that we're on, we've not even really started it yet. In fact, we're just preparing to embark on it. There is so much coming for crypto. We're going to be covering an article talking about the 1 billion users potentially within 2022. That's a significant chunk of the overall world's population. And this is the direction that crypto is heading in. And like I say, we're early on that journey. And we try and stress this in every single cryptocurrency daily update and every single cryptocurrency video full stop that we make. And we have been for the past year and a half, publicly and certainly privately for a lot longer. We're also going to be very quickly, but we've done lots of looking at on-chain analytics for Bitcoin, for the crypto space. They're all signaling that a bottom is relative, that a bottom is near for this space, as we're at record lows on a number of metrics that typically have previously signaled a bottom, and that we're going to see, if nothing else, a relief rally to the upside. So we're going to cover a little bit of that. The overall market's a little bit chirpy today, which is always nice to see. It's always nice to see a bit of a green day, but you've got to put this into perspective. You know, we have had a pretty significant sell-off. Typically, this is not the kind of structure that I like to see forming for Bitcoin. I don't like this kind of grind line. I'd like to see more of a basing out bottoming structure. That doesn't mean that we're going to spill to the downside. It just means that I'm not a big fan of this structure. You know, when you typically see this kind of after a pullback grinding structure, it's not the best. Whereas what you want to see is kind of a flat bottoming, some sort of a falling wedge, rather than, you know, you kind of grinding structure. Can you see what I'm talking about here? But that doesn't mean that we're going to sell off to the downside. It just means that, you know, it's not typically nice structure to see. However, you know, ultimately Bitcoin is going to see that continuation. Eventually, it's just a matter of time. There's a kind of macroeconomic game taking place. This, of course, is the dollar, which saw a huge amount of strength. A little bit shaky the other day and indecisive. Ultimately, this all centers around the Federal Reserve. It centers around what other countries are doing or what they aren't doing. The dollar is actually gaining quite a lot of strength in comparison with a lot of emerging nations against the euro. Not really massively against the pound, but a number of other currencies, it's gaining a lot of strength. So this is reflected in the dollar currency index. Of course, Ethereum. Ethereum's a bit nicer structure than Bitcoin, and of course Cardano, which is forming similar kind of structure to Ethereum. You're getting this kind of rounding out, if you will. Can you see? So that's nice to see. The NASDAQ, of course, has seen a significant slam down. And given how severe this sell-off has actually been for the NASDAQ, I mean, if we take it from its high to where it is currently, 18% is significant for your traditional stock movers. Let's take a look at some previous sell-offs. You know, this is the most significant sell-off that we've seen since March 2020, which, of course, saw the NASDAQ down 40+%. I actually think crypto has mitigated this storm quite well. And the reason being is because, yes, there is a tetherage to global financial markets, but at the same time, Bitcoin has a lot of its own fundamentals that are shining through. Now, we know we've moved away, or I personally think we've moved away from the Bitcoin 4-year cycle theory, which had us tethered to the halvening events. We've shown you this on plenty of occasions. We've spoken in great length about the Bitcoin 4-year cycle theory, the lengthened cycle theory, and so on and so forth. Subscribe, because we will be covering them in the future. But there's a lot taking place. And you know, could this be a growth sector when the others see a downturn? I think so. I think there's still so much growth that can come from crypto. People can't ignore this. We know that BlackRock are filing for ETFs, the largest asset manager. We know that Schwab's asset fund, $7.5 trillion under management, are also doing similar. And we also know that one of the Rothschild investments groups continue to add to their BTC shares. This is huge news. Did Arizona introduce a bill to make Bitcoin legal tender? This is what we know. Big if true. Did Arizona one up everyone's Bitcoin estate? A bill that seeks to make Bitcoin legal tender in the state is circulating through Twitter and Telegram groups. Doubt is still in the air and there is no official confirmation, but the document seems to exist. And even though it is just a bill, there is no guarantee it will pass. This might be the most important news of the year so far. Could you imagine El Salvador? You know, this is a trend that I've said is going to continue to move forward. We're going to continue to see Bitcoin get adopted. When you look at Bitcoin's overall lengthy chart, I left a draw on there where we were showing you the kind of bell curve for adoption, and this is essentially where I think when you look at Bitcoin's overall chart, and this isn't the best one, the Brave New Liquid Coin Index is far better to use. What you're looking at here is continued adoption, Metcalfe's law, things like this, and this is just another confirmation in that direction. We have news from Visa. Visa customers made 2.5 billion in crypto-linked payments in fiscal Q1. That's this year, not this year, sorry. What this is showing you, we've previously said that this is a trend that hasn't even started yet. Banks will become crypto platforms, essentially, as crypto platforms will become banks. And they'll merge together, if you will. And the reason being is not because banks love crypto and they think, oh, you know, Satoshi's vision was wonderful and freeing, and we're going to free humanity, and we're going to, you know, implement a fair value system. The reason they're going to do this is because they can make money from it. They're watching their customers transfer money from their bank accounts over to crypto exchanges, and that's a huge trend that's pricked their ears in that direction, and now they're moving towards us. And this is why we're seeing the likes of Visa. We've got a number of big banks that are going to start offering cryptocurrency services. We've got lots of small ones that are already starting to do it, certainly in the US and so forth. This is an article, Staying Cool, is crypto snowballing to 1 billion users? Demographics rule. Younger people are more likely to embrace crypto than older generations. That is very true, but there's a lot of older people within crypto. Crypto isn't just youngster specific. It covers everybody. In the same way that, you know, everyone can use money and so forth and so forth. And then it talks about the greatest transfer of wealth is coming. This is inevitable, in my opinion, that we're going to get to 1 billion users. We're nowhere near there yet. In terms of users, in terms of people that actually own crypto, yes, we are on our way, but nobody is even really using crypto yet. And this is a point that I keep stressing time and time again. Nobody even uses crypto right now. I won't say nobody, there's a few people, but in the grand scheme of things, it's 1% of 1%. You know, yes, there's a lot more people own it, but how many people actually use it? How many people actually use DeFi? This is all still to come. And this is one of the greatest opportunities that you will either take or you won't, that you'll get in your lifetime, in my opinion, in the crypto space. And yes, there's volatility and, you know, shaky grounds at time, but focus on that vision. And that's really also why we started this channel. This is from Russia. The Russian government agrees on a roadmap to regulate crypto report. One of the bank ministers, one of the main head honchos from Russia essentially came out, Russia's banking came out and said they wanted to ban it all. And then that got rebutted and they essentially said, look, no, we just want to regulate it. Regulation is a good thing for crypto and its adoption. Over-regulation is crippling, like what we're seeing in the US potentially with the America Competes law and so on and so forth. If the US, I have a lot to say on this topic and I'm going to stop myself from saying it. If the US want to penalize their own citizens and their power as a country, go ahead and ban crypto, because it's one of the largest growth sectors that we're seeing. It's one of the largest places we're seeing innovations from. Embracing it, regulating it would create jobs. It would create taxes, which would build infrastructure, and so on and so forth. Taxes largely just get squandered and spent on an absolute load of nonsense. I am not again. Everybody should pay their taxes. Otherwise, you will 100% go to prison for a long time. You can't avoid taxes, unfortunately. My issue with taxes, and I haven't got an issue with paying taxes, is how they're spent. I would be more than happy to pay taxes. I do pay taxes, of course, but I'd be more than happier to be paying them and not as resentful if they actually spent the money where it was needed. The majority of tax money, in my opinion, gets misspent. And that's a shame, and that's one huge issue, and nobody's ever held account for that. But I'm rambling on now, guys. This is from the SEC. SEC approves BSTX for blockchain settlements on traditional markets. The Boston Security Token Exchange, a new facility of the Boston-based BOX exchange, receives regulatory approval for the United States Securities and Exchange Commission to operate as a blockchain-based security exchange. All a step in the right direction. With the security and commodity thing, everything is inherently a commodity until it's proven to be a security. And we're still on that journey. We don't want crypto to be a security because it brings a whole litany of it would be a nightmare for it to be a security. Things just wouldn't be viable, like proof of stake, or they would, but they'd be very heavy. And whereas what we want here is sort of a currency, if not commodity status. Potentially, it's still a bit of a grey area, but this is, the SEC. Gary Gensler used to teach blockchain at MIT, and of course, he understands it to a degree, but of course, he's working for the opposition, and of course, he has to keep everybody happy on that side of the fence. One reason they haven't approved a Bitcoin spot ETF yet: what happens to the gold ETF? You'd see a lot of money flow out of that into Bitcoin because it's a faster horse within that sort of store of value race, in my opinion. Now, we've looked at all this on Chain Analytics before. The Root, or the Rational Root, is a great guy to follow, and of course, Will Clement, two of my favorite individuals. This is the whale balance, and we're seeing it really start to shoot up. And of course, this is the market hype, which we've actually looked at on Google Trends and so on and so forth. And you know what absolutely amazes me? And this is a testament to Bitcoin's strength and the cryptocurrency market's strength. Look at where we were when we made our all-time high over here. We were at pretty much 2014 levels of, which was the low point of the bear market, when we made a new all-time high up here in terms of hype and interest. Take that for what it is, ladies and gentlemen. This bull run is still on. In my opinion, when you're talking crypto full stop, it is a huge macro bull run that is going to continue because we're yet to even be adopted and used and implemented. It's all around the corner, and you guys get the opportunity to take advantage of that. That is not financial advice. All I have for you in the video, guys, if you've enjoyed the content, a like is always appreciated. So is a comment. Remember, there's a link to my Discord in the description. Go ahead and join. You will need to do a few things to get verified. It's just a way that we get rid of bots on the Discord. And also, we do have the stake pool for Cardano. ALLIN is the ticker. You're more than welcome to head over and stake with us. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I'll catch you all in the next YouTube video.